Well, welcome back to Focus today. Steve Johnson with you, and Dennis Linthicum. He is running for one of the Senate seats. In fact, this is going to be District 28, and you haven't maybe filled out your ballot yet, so we want to kind of let you know about the races that are going on. He's a Republican candidate for the District 28 Senate seat, and we're going to talk about why he wants to run, what he wants to do, and the whole issue of culture wars that you see here in. Right. But first, let's talk about one thing that's kind of taken a little bit of a profile. That's an element that has to do with Senator Doug Whitsett, who said he wasn't going to run again. And the indication is that he said, okay, at the last minute, I'm going to pull out. This will allow you to move in and run unopposed. Respond to that, because I know some people are thinking about that.
Well, and a lot of people are thinking about it, and it's understandable. So they're concerned, and I recognize their concern, but it's unfounded concern. I acted as an individual and applied. I applied at the last minute doing my own political calculus. And I know Doug Whitsett, and he withdrew a couple of days later, one day later. And there's really no harm in that. He and his wife counseled with each other, maybe friends, maybe others, and decided to withdraw as individuals. And so the accusation without evidence is troubling, because it paints a smear on what I'm trying to do, what I'm striving for, and I think that's the real important issue.
Okay, I do want to talk about that. So the concept then that there was some sort of collusion between you and Senator Whitsett, you would say what?
Well, I would say Senator Whitsett was a filed candidate, and he withdrew when he withdrew. It's none of my business how or why he withdrew. He actually shared with me in private, and I'm not privileged to tell why he withdrew, but this is one of those affairs that takes place at the individual level. The putting the $25 on the counter and filling out the application was my doing. How Senator Whitsett weighed that and withdrew is his doing.
Okay, so you're saying you're independent of his decision then?
That's correct.
Were you planning on running then anyway at that point?
Well, I was considering it. A year earlier, Senator Whitsett asked me if I was going to tackle Greg Walden again. You may remember in 2014 I ran against Greg Walden. He asked me if I was going to run against a commissioner, etc. And all of these issues are important, because I want to be a champion for lower taxes, less government, less bureaucracy, less rules, fewer regulations, all of those things that are crushing the economic viability of our nation.
Okay, well, let's talk about some of those things. Why are you entering this race? What would you say are the specific reasons?
The specific reason, I think there is a culture war. In your interview with Lori that your viewers just saw, you were talking about a redefinition. Is it the Temple Mount or is it a mosque? And this is a redefinition that is detrimental to our culture. Our traditional American culture is enlivened with Christian values from our Creator, these inalienable rights, life and liberty and property and the pursuits, your own just pursuits. These belong to us as individuals. They don't come from government. We need a champion who will respond appropriately to the redefinitions that are happening all over Oregon. Today in Oregon, we're struggling with what's a man and what's a woman, only because of redefinitions. Today in Oregon, we struggle what's renewable energy and what's not. Can we blow the 3 dams on the Klamath River Basin? The answer appears to be yes, because, quote, they're not renewable energy. And this becomes laughable. It's economic suicide to use these redefinitions to destroy the economy and culture of agriculture in Oregon.
And so what would you like to do then in office?
Well, what we need champions who know the true definitions, right? We need to be able to set our sights on attacking those individuals within our culture who are part of this war. And the war is coming right down the throat of Christian culture. Tell me what the family looks like today. Has it been redefined recently? One man, one woman, pro-life, pro-abortion. All of these ideas are redefining ideas that will impair and impact the Christian community at large. Whether you or not you have property rights and you are forced to bake a cake for a lesbian wedding reception is because we've redefined marriage. And there's a proverb, actually it's a psalm, Psalm 11:3. It's a very simple psalm. It's easy to remember and easy for your listeners to grasp. If the foundations are destroyed, where will the righteous stand? Where will we stand if the foundation of family and church and self-governance are destroyed, if the redefinition of our life and our values and those things are taken out from under our feet? Where will we stand?
You know, some in the legislature might say, you know, the issues you brought up are like, that's in the Senate and Congress to deal with the whole issue of sex and all this kind of stuff. I'm getting the idea you're saying this is what we need to champion on the state legislative level. Is that right?
That's exactly right. First of all, you'll not find any constitutional power enumerated to Congress or Senate that says they have the responsibility to determine male from female, transgender from lesbian. There's no constitutional mandate for Congress to take care of that. And I think
so that should be done at the state level then?
Well, the state, we need champions at the state level to argue that point. First of all, federal overreach, the EPA, the waters of the U.S., the destroying of coal energy, all of those things are happening at the federal level. Our state is following suit. The state has an enormous economic problem facing them. People ask me about what about the $100 million for K through 12 education that Oregon schools need, and my response is the $100 million is absolutely nothing. $22 billion is $22,000 million that PERS is in the hole. And so this printing press at the federal level is impacting state governments and county governments are now at the tail end of this whip that's getting thrown back and forth across the room. We need individuals who recognize economics. I didn't mention I have a bachelor's degree in economics from UCLA, and I have a master's degree from Biola University in Christian apologetics.
You know, this is going to be tough to have any kind of Republican move into any kind of a position, whether it's the House or the Senate on the state level, and make an effective change because we're so democratically, or I should say Democrat majority focused.
Yes.
So the ideas you have, I mean, you're going to be coming up against, should you get that position, some tough opposition. Do you think that any of those ideas can really be forwarded in the next session?
I think they can, and I think the reason why is we have an enormous population of people who still believe in the traditional Christian values that made America great. And these people need a voice, and what I would like to do in Senate District 28 is be that voice.
Have you been traveling around talking to people?
Yes.
What's been some of the feedback you get?
Well, District 28 is part of Jackson County, right here above the Eagle Point area, Shady Cove, Prospect, Butte Falls, into all of Klamath, all of Lake, a portion of Deschutes running up the east side. All the Jackrabbits in Deschutes belong to me. Okay. And up the east side and all of Crook County. So these are very rural, very traditional values, family values, traditional values. Every farmer out there knows a bull from a heifer, and male and female doesn't give him problems. Male and female gives the individuals in Portland trouble. And I think we need to argue the science of male, female, one man, one woman, pro-life. These little children that are in the womb are indeed children.
Do you think those issues will get a hearing in the next legislative session?
Well, I hope to be the champion. So we need individuals who are willing to go there and raise a ruckus and bring these items to the forefront. I don't think they're finished.
You don't? Okay, so you think that there will be more chapters on all this. Do you think the bakery situation that we had here with sweet cakes, was that just kind of the start of this whole controversy, so to speak, in the state?
You're right. That's how I would weigh it. I would weigh it as the start. They're not done yet, and this is really finding individuals into compliance. If you can't beat them into compliance in any other way, you can find them into compliance because they have economic self-interest. Remember, as an economist, I recognize how these things are being engineered, and it's administrative law, which I think is also a fallacy. Administrative law is way too powerful in the state of Oregon. It's way too powerful at the federal level, and we need to take that back and put it in the legislature, not in the hands of bureaucrats. This growth in government is enormous because bureaucracies grow and legislators sit around and watch them.
Okay. Dennis Linthicum is a Republican candidate for District 28 of the Oregon State Senate. Thanks for being here and explaining some of the issues that you see. Appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for your conversation this morning.
Coming up, we're going to be talking about an event that's pretty unusual. The lead singer of Cutlass is going to bring his band along and have a concert for a different reason than just having one outside at beautiful Lithia Amphitheater. We'll talk to John Micah Summerall coming up in just a few minutes on that and what you can be a part of right here on Focus Today.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.